It's a very temperate 25 degrees Celsius here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning. And Eid-al-Adha Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters celebrating this morning. Welcome to Sunrise Daily. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.
Indeed, Barakat Salah to all of you. Barakat Salah to you as well.
Indeed.
In the studio. I've been coming to work today, seeing all of the Muslim faithful on their way to prayer. It's a lovely sight. Good morning and welcome. I'm Kayla Magwa.
Indeed, Kayla, talking about people going to the prayer grounds now to say their prayers. We do know that the prayers for Eid-al-Adha, even though, it's called the bigger, the bigger Salah now, so to speak. It was fascinating watching people as they were going about their business. We do know that about now, the prayers will be on. The prayers to mark this bigger Salah will be on. And it's one feast, it's one celebration that, people of other faiths look forward to celebrating with their Muslim brothers and sisters. Why? Because of the ram involved.
Oh, yes. I have been reaching out to all my Muslim friends just so we can remain in touch for the celebration today.
I'm not allowed to laugh on this program because if I do, I might break down in a cough. But hey,
I mean, everyone has been calling up all their Muslim friends just to find out how they are doing, in the past
So
week.
if you do see a message from people of other faiths, say hello too and let them know if you have some ram meat for them, okay?
Let's not change. You remember that container, the one you used to put meat inside? Don't change that tradition. Let's keep it up. And another reason why a lot of people from other faiths, especially Christians, will relate with this particular Salah is because it's a story that we both share.
Indeed.
This is the story of Abraham and the sacrifice that was made instead of his son. So it's a beautiful story, and one that we've all read in the Bible as well as the Quran. It's a shared history between both religions. So it's a beautiful one, and we wish you all happy celebrations. May your sacrifices be accepted.
Amen.
And let's use this opportunity to learn the concept of sacrifice, the concept of giving and being there for each other, no matter how different we may be when it comes to our faiths, Malcolm.
And I think that dovetails directly into the president's message.
Oh, yeah.
Because during the season, we see all of our leaders, the president, and then governors, and then people who are not even in office, who were in office, people who are leaders in their communities, sending out messages of goodwill to their people, and topmost of this, on the very top of the list is that of the president, who has asked Nigerians to continue to embrace the values of sacrifice, selflessness, and compassion, which he says the festival symbolizes. He's also asked us to pray for our soldiers, those who do not sleep, so that we can be safe, to send our prayers to them. And this one is from me, and perhaps Kayla too, that we should also spare a thought. It's good to see that some goodwill is beginning to come the way of those who have recently suffered devastating floods in Mokwa. So as a special appeal, while we pray for our soldiers and all the personnel that are, sacrificing daily to keep us safe, because for all of their shortcomings, we know that we still need them in our lives. We still need them in our country. Yes, it's not perfect, it's far from perfect, but in spite of it all, there are people who are working daily to make sure that we are able to celebrate like this, that we're able to gather and worship. Kayla, on my way to work this morning, one of the things I noticed was the fact that security personnel were already on different parts of the highway, making sure that people were able to go and pray safely. They had cordoned off parts of the road. They were making sure that people could safely cross to different parts. And if you go and check, amongst them might be Muslims. Amongst them will be Muslims who would ordinarily want to go and pray and also celebrate with their families. Yes. But there they were, making sure that other people were able to safely do so. So this morning, I think we should spare a thought for those people, as the president has requested. And if we can, it's good to see that goodwill has also come the way of people in Mokwa. A few, companies, corporate outfits are beginning to reach out to the people of Mokwa. We continue to ask that as communities, as corporate groups, that we spare a thought for those people in our society who might be vulnerable, we all know that fingers are not equal in this season, and it's been particularly tough, economically speaking. So if you have more than one ram and you know you can share, please, by all means, do share.
Indeed, and it's important that we spare a thought for those Muslims in Mokwa at this point in time who are going to be praying on grounds where their loved ones have died. You know, it's a very touching situation.
Indeed.
In the midst of the anger that we feel and the calls for accountability on this particular recurring decimal.
It is disheartening.
In the midst of all of the anger that a lot of people, myself included, I can't hide the fact that I'm very angry about the situation in Mokwa. And not just because our brothers and sisters have died, but because it's every year. You know, it's every year. So it's becoming, it's something that needs to be stopped immediately. It's a game that cannot continue to be played. However, for the Muslims in Mokwa who will be trying to get their prayers right now on grounds where their loved ones have died, our condolences go out to you, and we hope that a lot of aid comes to you. We see a lot of aid coming in from around the world. Everyone is throwing what they can at Mokwa, and we wish you all the best. Well, we do have to go on a break, don't we?
Indeed, we do. So we take a break right now, and just so you know, we will be speaking with a sheikh much later in the program. Do note that most likely they will be at prayers right now, but as soon as they're able to join us, they will join us on this program where we talk about other issues. I mean, our policy is always interesting, isn't it? So we'll come to that shortly, but we'll take a break now. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Yes, we are taking a look at some issues that continue to bedevil the polity. I mean, it's one thing, I don't want to use, maybe I shouldn't have used the word bedevil, but that was the word that immediately came to my mind. But let's take a look at the issues of coalition, because we all know, but as much as we want to keep it on the side, 2027 is hanging very heavily in the air. No, INEC hasn't blown the whistle just yet, but we're already beginning to see a lot of political movements. Last week, we saw the endorsement of the president by members of the National Assembly. Right now, the papers are awash as to whether or not the APC will be given automatic tickets. We've seen the NEC meeting of the PDP. So all of these politicians are making their moves geared towards 2027. We've also seen a gale of defections, even from parties or from quarters that we have known to be traditionally of a particular political party. And that is still causing ripples, particularly in Delta State. Let's not forget what is happening in Akwa Ibom State. Even though we're yet to see defection, a proper defection there have been lots of talk around it, and that is also causing its own ripples. But let us go right now to our guests who are currently waiting for us. Norbert Sochukwumdima is a member of the APC in Delta State. He joins us virtually from Asaba. We also have joining us virtually Ogbeide Ifaluyu Isibo, who is a former commissioner for digital economy, science and technology in Edo State. Both states have seen a number of defections in recent times, all of them mostly to the APC, which is still causing a bit of unsettlement, even within the APC, as there are those who say, oh, look, we've kept faith with the APC for so long, you know, where will we put these people who have now defected into the APC? But we see leadership. I mean, for instance, someone like Mr. Festus Keyamo SAN, who now calls the governor his leader, because before now, he was the leader of the APC. So I think that's supposed to send a sign to the other people that, look, you have to make room for this new entrance into our party. And at some point, it would seem that they will have to stay at the forefront. But let's take a look at what it is our guests think of these issues. Let me come to you, Mr. Norbert, on this particular issue, which has happened in Delta State. Would you say that all has finally settled down since the governor, entered the APC? Have people, when I say the legacy people within the APC, have they made sufficient room to accommodate those who have defected into the party?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning to you. Good morning to you all and our viewers. In Delta State APC, heavily led by Elder Omeni Sobote as our state chairman, and the leadership structure from the state level to the unit level, we have the traditional issue of an open arm to receive and welcome those who are coming into our party. Because political party greatest desire, one of the greatest desires is to grow numerical strength as well as bringing good governance and progress. So as long as Delta State is concerned, all the people that have defected, our amiable governor, the immediate past governor, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who also was the vice presidential candidate of the PDP, our great deputy governor, all the leaders of PDP that left the party for APC have all been welcomed, warmly welcomed into our great party. And I must be honest with you that integrating ourselves or one another into the party is getting as fast as expected. It's not going to just be a one-off thing that everything would have happened the way some persons but our speed, the progress we are making at APC, Delta State, and beyond measure. So everyone is coming in. Yeah, to be honest with you, there are a few persons who may not be very comfortable with the development because politics, much more, to many people, is interest-driven. So those whose interests are not in line or in tandem with the movement of the PDP structure and government of Delta State into APC may not be very comfortable, but they are not in large number. Majority of us, by the special grace of God, I work directly with the national chairman of APC as SSA on local government affairs, apart from being the local government party chairman in Delta State. So we are
Oh dear, Mr. Norbert, I'm afraid that we've lost you. We've lost you briefly. If you can hear me, I must say that we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. We'll work on that and we'll come back to you. But let me go to our other guest, Mr. Ogbeide Ifaluyi Isibo, whose state, the Edo State, has also witnessed some defections, particularly within the assembly of the state. We saw the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly defect alongside a number of other members. And they say, oh, it's in tandem, it's one big political family. This was what it was before the governor, the immediate past governor, defected to the PDP, so they're just claiming back what was theirs. I don't know, what are your thoughts with regards to what has happened within your party, the PDP, and do you think that the NEC, which was held recently, do you think that it has brought back confidence into the members that are remaining in the PDP that your party is good to go for 2027?
Thank you again. Thank you, Mark, for having me. It's always a pleasure, to be on your program. Yes, the PDP is reshaping. The PDP is re-engineering. The PDP is reforming, and we recognize that we had some issues that we're trying to handle now, and that there's a reconciliation committee that was set up, headed by Senator Bukola Saraki, who's doing an amazing job trying to reach out to those who are still in the party, and a lot of those who had left, and they're pleading that they come back. And just like you said, The NEC meeting, the last NEC meeting was one that many were thinking was not going to happen, but eventually it did. And we're saying that we're putting our acts together and we're trying to work on the glitch, that we've suffered. Yes, some people have left in Delta states. We saw the governor living with some of his aides, and they're claiming that the taste of the palm wine has changed. And so because of the taste of the palm wine has changed, then they've changed their thoughts. And we are not so shocked, because now we're seeing a level of a lack of hygiene in our politics, where people who were elected on the platform of the PDP have become palm wine politicians, who disregard the option or disregard the view of the people that elected them, who disregard the collective will of those that voted for them, and suddenly, tilts their thoughts or tilts their opinions or change their political parties, at very little convenience, to the APC. And we're seeing that also in the PDP, but in Edo State, rather. But the issue is this: why these few political office holders have left to the APC, the people who truly own the power, the people who are community leaders, the people who have the votes, the people who are able to bring out the votes in the PDP, in Edo State and in the Delta states, are remaining with the PDP. We've seen time without number. I mean, the last election proved it clearly that because you're having a PDP governor or an APC governor in a state does not determine the direction in which the people are going to cast their votes. We saw the last the vice presidential candidate of the PDP lose elections woefully in Delta State. So that the Delta State governor has now joined the APC does not mean that the Delta people are now going to vote for the APC. The Delta people, are just like Nigerians, are generally displeased with the poor performance of President Bola Tinubu, and the 2027 elections will be a referendum on his leadership. I mean, we've seen a heightened level of lack of hygiene in our polity, where, to the build-up of the Edo elections, we heard President Tinubu speak to Edo APC members and tell them, I will give you Edo State. And watchers were very disturbed. That's a democracy. It is the people of Edo State who should determine who would lead Edo State. For a situation where the president determines, overrides, if you allow me, the collective will of the people, stating that I will give you Edo State. That shows that there's a destruction in the fabrics of our democracy. And he made true to his promise. He indeed gave them Edo State, and we allege that INEC colluded with the APC and the security agencies to steal the mandate of the Edo people. And we saw how that played out. And even after they stopped there, to the election tribunal to challenge the outcome or to challenge INEC with the results announced. And they told us that Wike owns the courts, And so even if you go to the courts, the APC members tell us in Edo State that Wike owns the courts. And that's the general perception of Nigerians today. And you see it all over social media. When we're talking about going to court, they say, oh, Wike owns the court. And in fairness to them, we also saw too that no sooner had the election tribunal dismissed our petition wrongfully, we saw Minister Wike appoint the president of the Court of Appeal as the chairman of the BOT of the IBB Golf Corp. And Nigerians were worried that Edo Election Tribunal is going to the appeal court. And we're saying almost immediately, you are giving some form of favors, to the president of the appeal court, who will be the one to assign judges to the Edo State case. And of course, at the Edo State Election Tribunal, the appeal now, we saw the charade that was done there. We saw the appeal court judges dismiss our petitions, not putting into consideration the facts that were brought before the courts. And so the lack of political hygiene is destroying the ethics and ethos of our democracy, and the Nigerian people are watching closely, and we know that we cannot continue with this, where one person, one man who is not a voter in Edo State will determine who will be governor of the state, and one man, who claims to be so powerful, Nigerians now feel owns the court. We cannot sustain a democracy where one person or where a few people will determine the collective will of the generality of the people. And so Nigerians are in dire straits. You could ask anybody. It's all over the place. Nigerians are are displeased with the failures of the Tinubu-led administration.
So, Isibo, are you saying then, just a moment, because it's interesting that you say, and I think it's very important to highlight this, because it could border on, it could be prejudicial, and it also could border on, you might say you're calling out, but the truth of the matter is you have to have evidence for that. When you say you heard that Wike, you know, owns the court, some people will say, yet you are in the court. So are you trying to arm twist the courts to actually give you what you want? If that doesn't happen, then you will say, oh, it's because we already heard this. Isn't it supposed to be based on what it is that you present before the courts? Because, yes, the fact that you are in the courts, the candidate of your party has gone to a tribunal. He hasn't won then. He's gone to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal has also, but he's insisted that he's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. Is this out of a lack of confidence in the court? Or precisely why is it still in the court?
Well, thank you. That is what democracy provides. That is what the laws provide. When you feel unfairly treated at the elections, that you approach the courts. Whether you have confidence or absolute confidence in the courts or not is a different matter. We have no option now but to go to the courts. But what I was trying to say is that it's not a matter of what I heard. This is a perception, a general perception of the Nigerian people. And we hear them say it all over the time. And we also hear the APC boastfully say it too, that Wike owns the courts. And true to that
we have seen parties that are not... We have seen people that are not members of either party go to court and, you know, they carry the day. They present their case and they carry the day. So what do we then say about it?
There's been no precedence in the last 2 years where anybody or any opposition party or any election tribunal matter went to the courts and they saw some level of fairness, you know. And listen, if just as the PDP's case was dismissed at the tribunal and we're approaching the appeal court, and Nigerians were seeing a member of the ruling government, you know, give an appointment to the president of the appeal court, what does that suggest to the people? No, so even if there was no direct correlation with those events, there's a suggestion that, you know, there's a possibility that the appeal courts may tilt their decision in favor of those who are favoring them. You know, and we came out to cry about this, and we saw it live at the appeal court judgments. We saw that the appeal court judges did not give credence to the facts, to the figures, to the issues, to the evidence that we brought before the courts. You know, and so Nigerians were looking at the Edo case as the last litmus test that was going to give them a feeling of, okay, do we still have this much confidence, you know, in our judicial system, or so do we just forget about this whole thing? And we could see that there was a general...
We'll get back to this conversation with you in a bit, but I want to get Mr. Norbert Sochukwu-Dimma, if he can hear us. I want you to be able to respond to a few of the things that you've heard him say. And then the biggest question, which comes to the APC, as you enjoy these defectors coming into your party. You know, our people say visitors must eat. Now, if the children in the house, we've heard of a few people who have accepted that, you know, we have new people coming into the party. Of course, the case of Festus Keyamo is very clear for us, where he used to be the leader of the party in his state, but now with another person, with the governor defecting to his party, he's now deferring to his governor and calling him his leader. This is clear. How many Festus Keyamos do we have in the All Progressives Congress? And there is the conversation about an impending implosion of the APC. Speak to that if you can, and then respond to a few of the things that we heard Mr. Isibo talk about.
It's okay. Thank you very much. I would like to start from some of the things my dear brother from Edo State mentioned. One is that it's a fallacy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not doing well or hasn't done well. Just 2 years in office, the reforms are already productive, and everybody can see it. From the message he gave this morning, we are not where we aspire to be yet, but certainly there are indicators that we're in the right direction. The reforms are working, and we'll get there. And evidence of the leadership, wonderful leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and my boss, Alaji, His Excellency Omar Ganduje, is it defection you're saying? The people are not just moving into APC for any other reason other than the fact that APC is a stabilized political party, and the leadership of the party from president to national chairman and across board is doing very well, carrying everybody along. And the issue of judiciary that they always criticize, honestly, I sympathize with members of PDP across Nigeria. I sympathize with them. They are in bad shape, and they are bad losers, lazy opposition. If you cannot do what you should do as opposition, if you are not able to win election, you cry foul. And it doesn't make any sense to me. These same people who have enjoyed verdict from judiciary, who have also won elections, you should have good spirit of sportsmanship. When you lose, you congratulate those who have won and work with them. Most is unfortunate, or more or less a misadventure, that most PDP members and leaders are armchair critics. It's unfortunate. Now, let me come back to Delta State from the question you asked. Let me say this with all emphasis. By the special grace of God, there's not going to be any implosion. We have wonderful leadership. The governor of our state, because that is how it is. It doesn't matter when he moved into the party. He's the leader of the party at the moment. And most of us who are realists, it didn't just start with him. They were leaders before he came. When Senator Ned Nwoko joined our party, a few months before they joined, the senatorial district, we are from Delta North Senatorial District, we all believe and agreed that Senator Nwoko, as the highest officer from the senatorial district, was the leader of the place. Before the governor and the deputy governor moved in, the governor is now the leader of the party. The deputy governor, who is from Delta North Senatorial District, has also become the leader, who's shifting the other man who was there. It's conventional, it's understandable, except those who want to tell lies to themselves. And let me tell you, my dear sister and viewers, Nigerians, Delta State APC and Delta State government, it's one. We are happy of what has happened, and by the special grace of God, and there was something this my brother said, that not because they moved into APC means that Deltans will vote them. Delta State has been mainly PDP and APC. Whatsoever that happened in 2023 presidential election happened and may not ever repeat itself. So by the special grace of God, we are working around the clock to see that everybody is brought together. My piece of advice for the PDP and other opposition parties is to play opposition.
I think we've lost that connection with him again. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Gbeide. You know, listening to a lot of the things that you said earlier, I do need to reiterate that you need proof. When you make accusations, you can't just randomly say, oh, this person owns the courts and things like that. That may be how you feel, but you always have to present facts, you know, so that you can prove what you're saying and not just move with sentiments. Which brings me to the question I'm about to ask you. You know, a lot of people have left the PDP to the APC, and for whatever reason, many people have said it's because they have political careers that they want to save. And many people have believed that the People's Democratic Party will not be able, with the internal wranglings, where you still have national chairman issue, national secretary issue, the Southeast PDP still has issues, you're still dealing with Wike, you're dealing with coalition, you're dealing with your governors. With all of these things going on, for many of the politicians in the People's Democratic Party, it's not a place for me to grow right now, and I need to save myself, which is why many of them are jumping ship, among many other reasons. Do you think that your party will be able to get the internal wranglings together so that you don't just stop saying, oh, the APC is bad, is bad, is bad, but a lot of people are looking at your party and thinking, well, people cannot grow here. I need to go somewhere where my career can grow. What do you make of that assertion?
Well, thank you. Let me start by responding that I don't need to have any proof to have a perception. The Nigerian people have a perception, and we see it especially on social media and in political conversations, that there's a perception that Wike owns the court. So I'm not the one saying it. So I don't need to bring proof that this is a perception that I have, that many Nigerians also have. That aside, the PDP had her fair share of misadventure. And indeed, these are not the very best times for us. Yes, we've had not just cases of defection, there's been internal wranglings. And for me, I feel that, it's time we put away all the shenanigans of, party national secretary or the issues we're having in courts. And I think the Nigerian people expect a whole lot more from the PDP. The PDP is still the strongest political party with the largest base in Nigeria. And the Nigerian people expect a whole lot more. We're expected to stand up for the people who are going through dire straits, in Nigeria today. Besides the praise singing of APC members on the Tinubu administration, what do the Nigerian people really think about the Tinubu administration in the last 2 years? It's been sorrow, tears, and blood. They're making Nigerians now apologize to Buhari that even the hardship we saw under your administration was not as bad as this. But we're missing good luck, Jonathan. We're missing empathy. We're missing leadership. We're missing presidents that understood the demands and the cries of the people and how to address them that we saw under the PDP administration. So, yes, we're having to curtail our own excesses. Yes, we're having to address our own challenges. But those who are defecting, are they really defecting because of the interest of the people that they were elected to lead? Or they're defecting on their own resolve just to hold on to power? Power should be one gotten to appropriate the resources of the people to their benefits. But what we see now is people are appropriating these resources to their own benefit. That's why in Delta State, we saw them say that the taste of the palm wine has changed. It's the palm wine taste in their mouths, not the mouths of the Delta people. And so we're willing to do away with palm wine politicians who would toss the coin at every point in time. And so for those who are thinking that, is my future safe with the PDP? Yes, your future is safe with the PDP. The PDP elected you. Some of them, jumped on the bandwagon of popularity of the PDP in their states, to get elected. And so now that you are elected, suddenly the PDP is no longer. And we see that a lot of these defections are not willful. We're seeing that there's a lot of coercion, there's a lot of pressure, because somebody wants to remain in office in 2027. So he's doing all he can to pressure governors, to leave their party to join his, which is fine. In every political arrangement, people are going to do the best they can to add to their numbers. And we don't have any problems with that. But the thing is that the Nigerian people are of the opinion that the APC has failed the Nigerian state. The APC has brought to hardship and increased and tears for the Nigerian people to change that in 2027. And for me as a person, I see sense in us having a coalition. I see sense. Yes, I do. I can hear you.
Okay, so you're absolutely correct in the sense that, you don't need proof to have a perception. But when that perception is starting to sound like an accusation, that's when you've crossed the line, which is where people start to ask you for proof. So you are correct. We cannot tell you, you need proof before you can feel something. Whatever you're feeling is how you're feeling. But when you now make statements about it, and those statements can be perceived by the person you're addressing as an accusation, that's when you now need proof.
It's a general perception of the Nigerian people. It's not just me.
Yes.
I'm just amplifying what Nigerians think. It's not just me.
All right, so I want to be able to go back to Mr. Norbert. If Mr. Norbert can hear me.
Should answer Nigerians.
Mr. Norbert, yes, your response. You were cut off towards the ending of your conversation there.
Yeah, it's laughable the way my brother over there sounds, but I understand. It's painful when you're in power for a period of time and all of a sudden, because of your failure, PDP lost. They had opportunity. For 16 years, they governed this nation. It was the usher of the state they are crying wolf. They wish they could get back to power, but they are not able to do so. Imagine a political party that is not able to lead itself. As we speak today, they cannot say this is the national secretary. They don't have stability. That's why the wise people are leaving. One of the reasons, apart from our performance as a political party, that people are leaving PDP for APC is because they know the party has become hopeless. The party is gone. That's why they are pushing to see if they could do coalition. Coalition also will not work. One of the reasons it won't work is because all the persons leading the supposed coalition have interest in the same thing. Atiku wants to be president, P2B wants to be president at the same time, and they are talking about coalition. So when we look at and listen to these people, just laugh and say they are ridiculous. As a political party and as government in power, our concentration and focus is how to bring dividends of democracy to Nigerians. We feel the impact.
Well, we'll see about that. You talk about dividends of democracy. Some people will say we'll see about that because what they expected members of the PDP to do, particularly in the oil-rich state of Delta, was to actually play opposition, to be able to, you know, put the APC on its toes. And a number of people are really disappointed that, you know, the people like the governor of your state have now defected. I mean, some people will say one man's milk is another man's poison. So there are those who will say, look, the president whom you praise so much today, if you're in the APC, was somebody who played opposition all of his life. He never defected. He walked his way to the top, so to speak. So, you know, that's what they want to see governors who are in opposition party do today. But it doesn't appear that they're doing that. Isn't it a little disappointing?
Okay. All time, God bless you. Once one man's meat could be another man's poison. Listen, my dear sister and viewers, Nigerians at large. The Delta State governor and all the PDP bigwigs who left PDP for APC, maybe they would have stayed if they had any hope in the political party. You won't say the political party that has become hopeless, especially when the government party at the federal government and the president, the national chairman of the ruling party, is doing very well. You know that when you get in there, let's see for Delta State, our amiable governor has been performing, he's been doing well. Now that he's connected to the federal government, there's no distraction, there's no opposition. His focus is to lead our people. It's not a must that you play opposition in a state.
Mr.
When
Chukudima,
to the federal and do the needful.
We hope to keep tabs with you. I mean, we still have 2 years. Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Chukudima. Okay. I mean, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we really have to go. We certainly will be keeping tabs on your state, Delta State, because we know that the ripples is not something that is going to... We'll see how eventually all of it is managed, the fallout of it, the merging, the real merger. Will we see people who are, you know, in the APC or who were in the APC before then, you know, join the government of the day, perhaps as commissioners, as a council? We don't know. We'll see how that eventually is blended, because there are those who will be thinking now that since their party is in power, they should get political appointments. But we have to thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning. Mr. Norbert Chukudima is a member of the All Progressives Congress in Delta State and has joined us virtually from Asaba. Mr. Ifeolu-Isibo, I'm going to ask you to just give your closing comments, and this will be in 30 seconds, if you can, as to what exactly you expect of your party in the light of all that has now finally happened. I know you've been speaking a lot about Edo State, but I want you to speak about the PDP in general. Do you think that now they are on the right path?
Yes, I think we're on the right path. We're on the right path with reconciliation and reconstruction, as Senator Bukola Saraki is doing. And I'm thinking that we're going to be standing up a lot stronger on behalf of the Nigerian people to speak on their behalf and to put the government on her toes. The government that has derailed, the government that has failed, we need to be able to help the Nigerian people, to give them a viable option, you know, so that in 2027 we will have a more reasonable platform where Nigerians can elect new leadership that will lead Nigeria and govern our people properly.
Well, all of this, time will tell. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ogbeide Ifeolu-Isibo is a former commissioner for digital economy, science and technology in Edo State, and he's joined us virtually as well. Thank you so much. We'll take a break and we'll be back shortly with another segment, because we also saw an interesting visit to the president in the course of this week. We'll be talking about it shortly. Please stay with us. Well, the pictures that you see on your screen right now are coming to you all the way from the Zuko Eid ground in Mokwa town, which is jam-packed with hundreds of Muslims who've turned out to observe the 2 rakat prayer to mark this year's Eid-el-Kabir festivity. And the voice you heard leading the prayer there is the chief imam of Mokwa local government, Alhaji Mohammed Ibn Mohammed, who led the worshippers to observe the prayers. Among the worshippers are the paramount traditional ruler of Mokwa town, known as the Ndalele of Mokwa, Muhammad Aliyu Shaba, and other respected Islamic clerics in the area. So the visuals you see right there are visuals of the prayer ground known as the Zuko Eid ground in Mokwa town. So somehow the residents of Mokwa are still trying to normalize their lives as much as possible, especially during this Eid season. Well, much later in the course of the day, we'll be telling you how Muslims celebrated in different parts of the country. But we're changing gear very quickly to the issue of politics. But I know that before you do, I know you'd like to certainly greet our Muslim brothers and sisters. We have with us Jike Pele in the studio, who is the founder of TAF Africa. So welcome to Sunrise Daily. And Baraka de Salah to you.
I truly don't know what that means, but whatever it is, a greeting to our Muslim brothers.
Indeed.
So my dear Muslim brothers, I greet you.
Indeed. So, well, this is, we're still looking at political development, and we have spoken with you several times on the issue in River State, which we have been hoping, would have been resolved by now. But it does appear that much as we're seeing movements behind the scenes, it doesn't appear that there has been any pronouncement to that effect. Part of what people saw during the week was the visit of Governor Fubara, suspended governor of River State now, to the president. And it looked like it was a warm handshake. There wasn't much said about it, but we saw that particular picture. As somebody who has been advocating that this state of emergency should come to an end, what were the thoughts that ran through your head when you saw it?
I think, I will try and give 3 perspectives to that meeting. One is the context, what brought about the meeting. The second is the significance of the meeting. And the third is the potential political implications. I know that my opening statement, I won't have all the time to go through this. But generally, for viewers who are just probably hearing this for the first time, what happened was in March 2025, the president decided to proclaim an emergency rule in River State, and the governor and his deputy suspended, the House of Assembly suspended, and since then it's been back and forth on how either the emergency rule will be removed and the elected governor goes back to office, or some kind of political solution, and that had been the issue. That's what necessitated this meeting. And for the first time, Mark, you'll agree with me that the presidency opened up and agreed that there was a meeting, which is a good development as far as I'm concerned. It brings us to, the significance of this meeting, which is simply to broker peace, I believe, between Sim, his former boss, and the State Assembly legislators. We don't have much information on what the terms has been, but we have also heard some political statement, which I don't subscribe to, by Governor Fubara, saying he's no longer interested, his spirit have left. I think that was a political statement that does not in any way align with the people, the mandate of the people that voted him to go and lead them. And there's been mixed reactions. Some people say that shouldn't happen, and some people say, well, he was just making a statement that alludes to the fact that...
Some people say if he's tired, he should step down, and say he doesn't want to be governor anymore. There are those who were so angry that they said that.
I think, like I said, it was a political statement. Well, if you want that, if you want to do that, then the best thing you would do is to resign, even though he's suspended, you know. But however, my interest, Mawkwe, in all of this is the backlash on the people of Rivers State, the common people that are trying to eke out a living. They are the one that this whole thing is putting pressure on. Fubara is comfortable, Wike is comfortable, everybody in participating in this process, they're comfortable people. The poor are suffering.
Is this going to be sorted? It does feel like one of those situations that the optics of this meeting is one that everyone has been discussing, how it looks. Some people have said no. If Tinubu were in the shoes of Fubara, he would not be going around begging and trying to get people to listen to him and whatnot. Many people believe that for a man who is governor, as a man, you should even say you're not doing this anymore. Well, or stand your ground on what it is that you stood on that made you at odds with these people who are trying to move you around.
Well,
but,
go ahead.
You know, but when I think about Mr. Fubara and this visit to the president, is this a good thing that's happening? I know he's trying to sue for peace, but what does that say to them? Even if he comes back, will he always be cap in hand in front of these people?
Very good question. Very good question. The problem and the thing that really gives me a lot of concern is the fact that there have been people that have been supportive of Fubara till this day. Those people, whatever peace that he's trying to broker, he has to carry along those people. And the other side should not be mocking the people who supported him. No, because it will fuel more crisis.
You think his actions are alienating the people that are supporting him?
I think the political statement really shook a lot of people.
The one where he said he doesn't feel this anymore.
Yes. I particularly have analyzed that statement, and I totally and absolutely disagree with him. Because the thing, Mawkwe, is not about Fubara. It's about the office he occupies. It's about the mandate of the people. It's about the suffering, the economic hardship of the people. It's about the social life of average Rivers people that have been taken away from them. It's about our resources that have been depleted, and a foreigner, permit me, I'm not a tribalist, somebody from another state is sitting over huge resources, and he has not been able to come out one day to say, I made this money, this is what I have spent, this is what is left.
There's no accountability.
At all. And I'm one of those who are getting ready, and one day, to challenge Ibok in court.
Do you think, though, that this means that this could be coming to an end, that this state of emergency in Rivers State could be coming to an end? This meeting, do you think it's spelled?
Yes. That's why I said the potential political implication. If you look at their body language and everything, it looks like some deals are being, they are getting into some deals behind closed doors. It's a good thing. Let there be peace so that we can move forward. But Fubara needs to be very careful what he's signing so that he doesn't sign away the destiny of the people that put him there.
I think it's a fine place to leave it. We have to, we'll continue to keep tabs on what is happening in Rivers State, but we have to thank you for coming to us this beautiful Salah day. Mr. Jacob Pele is the founder of TAF Africa.
Thank you, Mawkwe, and Megwa, and the entire channel team for the interest you have shown in the welfare of Rivers people. I stand for Rivers people, nobody else.
Well, that's where we wrap up the program this beautiful Thursday, but it's Friday, actually. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. What a day for Salah to follow. Well, this is where we wrap up the program. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mal. Well,
have a great Salah, a great weekend ahead. I'm Kayla Magwa.